And I think we are ready to go. So welcome everybody to Saturday morning. Great to have you on here. I tell you what, you really separate yourself from the masses when you come on a call like this on a Saturday. A lot of people have that employee mindset where they get to Saturday and Sunday, they're taking off. They're not doing anything business-wise at all. And entrepreneurs don't think that way. Entrepreneurs think, man, Saturday is the best day of the week because everybody's home and we can make good communication calls and talk to a whole lot of people. So I love Saturdays, and let's see if I can share this screen here, and we will be in total business. All right, share screen. Here we go. All right, hang on, guys. Bear with me here. Asking for a passcode. So, all right, can you guys see this screen says change? Got a thumbs up from Christy. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. We're going to talk about change this morning. I'm going to talk about some things that are a little bit deeper maybe than some of our training, but I have really personally been involved in the subject of neuroscience. Neuroscience. Boy, that makes me sound very intellectual, doesn't it? But it is a fun thing to get involved with. And really it's talking about how do we change? How does the brain work? And how can knowledge of how the brain works help us build our business? And I think that's really my focus has been for quite a while. I've always loved mindset. I think mindset is the key to building our business. And you get the proper mindset, you can do things that you can't imagine. This business gives that to us. It's unlimited income that we're looking at here. There's a lot of work involved to get to that unlimited income. It's not something that we can just easily say and go, oh, there's unlimited income here and snap your finger and there it is. But at the same time, our type of business affords us that type of income. And instead of being on a fixed income like everybody else trading hours for dollars is on, we have the opportunity to create that type of income and a whole lot more than that, and to really enjoy a lifestyle that gives us the ability to go beyond what most people do. And so it's very, very exciting. And we're going to talk about that and just some of the aspects of our thinking and our brain that maybe you haven't thought about before, or maybe you need reminding of. I need reminding of it, reminding of these ideas, certainly. The first idea is intention. Intention. I want you to write that down and think about that word. I think words are very, very powerful. There's words that I think about on a daily basis that I want to get clear about. And intention is that very meaning. It's being clear on what you want and where you are headed, and having single-mindedness as opposed to being just all over the board. I use the phrase a lot of time, being a meaningful specific rather than being a wandering generality. And what I mean by that is just getting up in the morning and just existing day in and day out. A lot of people just get up in order to get by during the day, and I have a little bit different idea of that. I know Bobby and Michelle have a greatly different idea of that. The idea is, what are we going to accomplish today? And that's my thought when I get up in the morning after I've done my scripture reading and then reading in some other important books that I'm reading currently. Here's one I'm reading right now. I don't know if that's backwards to you or not, but it's Fearless Networking by Todd Falcone. Simple little book, real thin book. That's the kind of book I like, real thin book. Get through that real easy. Todd's a good friend of mine. I've known him for years and years and watched him grow as a network marketing instructor and trainer, and he is one of the best out there. So getting those things, you can get that book at toddfalcone.com for $10, the shipping cost. And he'll get you that book. So you'll also go on his mailing list and you will hear from him again, but that's okay. So this idea of single-mindedness and thinking about Isagenix more than just a hobby, more than just something that, oh, I joined this deal and I got involved in this deal. Instead of that, thinking of this with narrow-minded focus, single-minded focus, where we're coming in, we're saying, I'm going to make Isagenix a big part of my day every single day. And I'm going to build my business and build my team. Somebody asked me the other day, what do you do? And I said, well, I manage a group of professionals that teach people how to retire within 3 to 5 years. I'm going to say that again. I manage a group of professionals that teach people to retire in 3 to 5 years. And that's really what we do. That's really my focus in what we do. And you said, well, what about the products? I said, well, the products are absolutely essential. We aligned ourselves with a company that has the best products in the business by far. There's no question in my mind that these are the top products, no compromise products, whereas all of our competition, if you want to find out what your competition is, go out there and take a look and find out what's going on with the competition. You'll come running back to Isagenix real quickly when you find out what other people are doing. And that's not to put them down. It's just that you need to make a quality choice on the company that you're involved with if you want to have the intention of retiring in 3 to 5 years and having this residual growing income that we talk about all the time. That is really one of the attractions of our type of business right here. So intention is being clear on what you want. How is your intention? How is your clarity of what it is you want? Have you written that down, and are you clear on that? Or do you have that in front of you at all times? I'm going to talk about a dream board here in a little bit. Most of you know about that. Most of you are clear on dream boards and why the importance of dream boards, but we're going to get a little bit deeper and discuss that. Let's see. I think it's star 9. To
start conference recording, press 1. To return to the conference, press star.
Okay, that's not it. Let's star 6 on this, I think. Okay, if you're on the phone line, if I could get you to mute your line, that would be very helpful. I'm not sure on this system how to mute. Bobby, do you know what the mute is on the phone line there? Okay, they muted. We're good. Star 5. Okay, great. We're good. All right. Here's another term that I want to talk to you about, and this is an interesting term when it comes to business, and that is the idea of surrender. Surrender. And that normally is a negative connotation word. It's something we don't think about. I'll never surrender. I'm moving forward. But there's a surrender that we're talking about, an aspect of surrender that I really, really think is important that we get, and that is trusting that your intention and consistent action will result in the outcomes you're looking for, and surrendering to that idea instead of fighting that all the time. A lot of people I know, a lot of people I've personally enrolled, fight the idea that the outcome is actually going to be there. And so they're constantly questioning that. They're constantly doubting that. They're doubting it. And so I want you to surrender to the idea that the outcome is there. The outcome is there. And I'll give you that on a sort of a spiritual realm. I've got a guy that I've supported for about 25 years now. He is an absolute saint of a guy. He started the God's Child Project in Guatemala. And I met him about 2 years into his project, and through my music started raising funds for him. We sent him a check for $150,000 to open up the school that he wanted to open up there, because he believes that education breaks the chains of poverty. And I could not be on that page more solidly with him on that thought. And that's what we're doing here on this call right now, is education that breaks the chains of poverty, or breaks the chains of mediocrity and complacency that a lot of us experience in life. And so he told the story Sunday night. I was with him. Let me see if I can get this.
All callers are muted.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. That worked there. So we got mute on the phone line here. I was with him, and he told the story about when he was 10 years old that he fell into a lake, and he got wrapped around some rope and literally drowned. He was there for 7 minutes underwater. And he said, during that time, I had a spiritual experience where I literally had that we all hear about all the time, that you saw heaven. And he did that. And he went through that. And so he said, what that did for me for the rest of my life was give me the serenity of knowing what awaits me on the other side of death. And so a lot of people go through life, they're scared to death of death. They're scared to death of the future, anything that's going to happen. And so he said, it's as clear as if whatever room you're in right now, there's another room adjacent to you. You're not in that room, but you trust that that room is there. And he said, I do that with my spiritual life, with heaven and eternity. And it enabled him to go out fearlessly into the slums of Guatemala, some of the roughest, craziest, and we went down to the Guatemala City dump. And I tell you, you want to go to a place where the stench is so overwhelming that you can barely do anything walking through there. The stench is so powerful it will make you gag, if not vomit, right there on the spot. And I just tell you that to say the conditions that he was involved in and pulling kids, 20,000 kids live in that dump. He pulled those kids out of the dump, got them clothes, got them food, got them medical care, safety of being out of the dump, and then education on top of all that. And so he set it up where we could sponsor some of those kids, and we've done that for years now. One of the kids we sponsored now is about to be a grandmother, and I mean, just crazy, because she was like 6 years old when we first sponsored her, but she had babies early, and now they're child rearing age and that kind of stuff. I tell you all that to say that you need to trust what's on the other side of building this business is there. It is there. And you need to have that confidence and that serenity to surrender to that fact, as opposed to fighting that and wondering if the rewards are here. Now, I'm telling you, and I'll be the first to tell you, there is a lot of work to do here. A lot of work. This is not a simple situation. It's as simple as talking to somebody, but you got to talk to a lot of people, because you don't know who's going to do this and who's not going to do this, who's going to stay with you, who's not going to stay with you. And so you got to go through lots of numbers in order to do this. But is it worth it? Absolutely, it's worth it. And I stake my reputation on that and lead people into this with full surrender and trust, surrendering to the outcome without being over logical and over analyzing the steps to get there. If we do that, we have paralysis through analysis and nothing really happens. And so we want to move forward with that full trust and that surrender that your intention and your outcome is awaiting you. So I love that idea right there. Change, what is change? Well, I would say change is this. A definition is thinking about the future differently than our present conditions and environment. Our present conditions and environment have created where we're at right now. Right? So, I mean, it's just amazing how our environment weighs in on us. The circumstances come into our lives, and we become a person of those conditions and that environment and those circumstances. And so we have the ability to change that if we will change those circumstances and those stimuli that come into our life, those conditions and our environment. We can change that. So we ask the question at Isagenix, and as entrepreneurs, we ask the question, why keep creating the same circumstances and relationships? I have a lot of people on my team that I talked to them 2 years ago, and they have this one prospect in mind, and I talked to them 2 years later, and we're talking about the same prospect. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. You got to get off of those old prospects and get into new circles of people and relationships where you're intertwining your life and your thoughts and your process and your the things that you're involved with, specifically Isagenix, with new people on a regular basis. So we want to change. We embrace change, and that involves changing our present conditions and environment and relationships. So let's look at this. A lot of us have habitual thoughts about ourselves. And you're going to talk to people that are absolutely trapped in these ideas right here. And maybe you're trapped in these ideas. Maybe I am to some extent. I'm currently analyzing my own circumstances and situations to see, Tim, how are you thinking? Because I know that my thinking is the root of my success. If I get my thinking right, then my success will come after it. And so here's what a lot of people think. They think their current income is the only reality they're ever going to experience. I make X amount of dollars. That's it. That's what I'm destined to do. I'm doomed to do that. And my current job is the only way to create income. And you're completely focused on that job and dependent on that job. The current denomination of currency that I carry is all I'll carry. I've got $5 in my wallet. I've got $20 in my wallet. I got a $100 bill in my wallet. That's all I'm going to be. That's the max it will ever be. And so I'm thinking my wallet right now, I've got probably about $600 or $700 in my pants pocket right now. And I do that on purpose. I do that on purpose because I want the denomination of currency that I carry to not be normal. I want it to be in excess, exceeding what most people do. And when you do that, man, you go through life and you got that much money in your pocket. You're not worried about things that are going to happen. You're confident. You're going through fully. What's the restaurant bill? Doesn't matter. We're moving forward here. And that thought process precedes you being able to do that. And so a lot of people, they think about their income in terms of $50,000 a year, in terms of $40,000 a year, in terms of $80,000 a year, and they're locked into that so much that that's all that they're going to be making. And that thought coincides with that income amount so much that you create your reality. And so what we want to do at Isagenix is think about higher denominations, larger income levels. How about my current energy level is the way my energy is, and that's never going to change? Well, we know at Isagenix, you get involved in nutrition and the products that we're involved in here, your energy level is going to change. It's going to go way up. When your energy level changes, your motivation level changes. When your motivation level changes, you start going, now, how much is that gym membership? And how about this walking that I'm doing? I wonder if I could turn that into a jog. And how about that jog that I'm doing? I wonder if I could turn that into a run. And how about the amount of miles I'm walking, or the amount of feet I'm walking in some of your cases, our cases, is we can up that to 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile. And then we look, man, I may be able to run that 5K. And then maybe I'll be able to run that half marathon. Then maybe I'll be able to run that marathon. I've seen many people on our team go through that process of just thinking, man, my energy level can go up. And when my energy level could go up, my exercise level can go up. So those are things that we teach here. And all of a sudden you blossom out of the person that you were, and this change starts occurring. How about my current physique is the only shape I'll ever have? And Bobby and Michelle's before and after pictures are probably some of the greatest Isagenix has ever had. They were phenomenal, man. Look at that. Good stuff. And man, I've seen me go from a amorphous, dumpy, old age guy into a guy that's got some abs now. And I'm going, wow, this is so good. And I'm loving going to the gym, and I'm loving running 3 miles at 62 years old. And so you guys can do the exact same thing. Your current physique is not the shape that you'll always have. You can change that physique. And I say, use the products. Use the products like a 30-day system tells you to use it. 2 meal replacements a day, and then eat healthy on that third meal. If you're a bigger man, that's going to be about 700 or 800 calories. If you're a woman, somewhere in the 600 calorie range for that third recreational meal right there. And then do those cleanse days. And I suggest the 2-day cleanse day. The deep cleanse is phenomenal. You're going to walk out of there with clarity and energy, and lost pounds and lost inches, and your blood work is going to be phenomenal. Your doctor's going to go, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And we see that all of the time. I see people that have blood issues, and we can't use the D word apparently, but I see people with that, and that's an epidemic going on with that D word right there. And I tell them, you need to get here as quickly as you possibly can. Get on these products right now. Get here now, because I can tell you, I have seen it hundreds of times. People's blood work changes dramatically, and they get off the medications. One of my goals in life is to get people off of medications. Those are poisoning people. Drugs are poison. They're toxins. And all they're doing is maybe stabilizing some of your factors there, some of your indicators a little bit, but they're only masking the problems, and they're not correcting the problems. Isagenix, with good nutrition, with good diet, those are real changes that get down to the root of the problems and get your bodies working like they should be. So number 6 is current abilities are the height of what I'm capable of doing. And I don't know, you may have had somebody tell you that you're not good enough for the basketball team, or you're not fast enough, or you're just not athletic enough. And I can tell you that you can improve your athleticism, your abilities, whatever they are. You can get better at those abilities. You can work on those things. Bobby's biking a whole lot. He can do more biking. I can do more with what I'm doing with weightlifting. And I got a professional weightlifter competitor came over, and he's helped me quite a bit. This guy's unbelievable. He had so much weight on the bar that I went over to him. I said, man, I can't even add that up. How much weight is that? And it was like 450 pounds. This guy's benching 450. I'm not quite there yet. So I said, man, I'm just very impressed. I said, are you a competitor? This is how I met him. And he said, yeah. And I said, well, you got any tips for me? He came over and he gave me 3 or 4 tips that I'd never thought about with weightlifting. One of the first things he says is that balance, it's all about balance. And I thought it was all about muscles, but he said, but it's about balance. It's like golf. It's not how hard you swing. It's how fluidly you swing and where you hit the ball in the middle of the golf club and that kind of thing. So anyway, there's tricks and tips in any endeavor that you're involved with, and your abilities can get better and your personal records can be exceeded when you start putting your diet first, when you get better sleep, when you're working out, you're exercising, and your mindset coincides with that. And all of those things go together. Number 7, the current success level is as high as I'll ever experience. And so what I want you to do as far as your financial situation is concerned, I want you to think bigger. All of this is leading somewhere here. To think about a new personal record in annual income. If you're not a 6-figure earner yet with Isagenix, you certainly can become that. If you're on our teams, listen, the best thing that can ever happen to me from a self-centered standpoint is that I help you get to a 6-digit income. And I hope you're on board with that. I hope you see that and get excited about that and allow me to help you get there. You know, I do 3 regular calls this week. I've got a team of almost 20,000 people, and only 3 people are talking to me regularly on a weekly basis. And they're growing. They're growing like crazy. But the ones that don't talk to me, I say, why are you not talking to me on a regular basis? Why are you not proactively picking up the phone and calling me on a regular basis? I have nothing but the greatest intentions for your success in mind. And so just think about that. The leaders in this team, I know Bobby and Michelle and Jay and everybody else, like, man, communication is the oxygen for our business. It is how this business, it's like a fire. You don't have enough oxygen on your fire's not going to grow. You put some oxygen in that fire and your fire is going to go crazy. Well, the same thing's true here with communication, and that's how we get big in this business. So just some thoughts right there. I want to look at some things about habitual thought. And a lot of us have habitual perspectives about a multitude of subjects. And when we keep that same perspective, what it does is creates confinement. It is binding and it is limiting. For instance, if we have prejudices, and that's not necessarily a racial thing, it can be a prejudice against a certain group of people. Extremely limiting, extremely confining for us when we have that. Our loyalties, we can get loyal to one college or university, or we get loyal to this particular organization, that kind of thing. Loyalty is a great thing, but it can also, if we continue a loyalty for a long, long time, we just need to analyze that and not have habitual thought about loyalties. Political affiliation, same thing. I changed mine about 1998. And realized I had not been very political up to that point, and I started studying politics, and I changed parties. I went to a different thought process, and I looked at my habitual thought not as something that I'd lean on the rest of my life, but something that needs to be questioned. Religion is the same way. Entrepreneurism is certainly that way. And so you got a lot of people that are negative about network marketing. I say a lot, it's not that much anymore. So I don't get that hardly at all. And I think part of that's my success and my posture. But if somebody is negative towards network marketing, it's because of maybe one comment that somebody made 20 years ago, or an uncle that was involved in network marketing and he was a jerk, or whatever the situation is. But they need to reanalyze that. When somebody says something negative about network marketing, I say, have you ever focused on the professional side of network marketing? Well, they don't know what they're talking about in the first place anyway, but really that sort of sheds a whole new light on it. And because I'm a professional network marketer and you have a bias against it, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the aspects of entrepreneurship and network marketing. Maybe you have a bias, and we all do. We all have biases against certain things. And so we need to look at that. It's habitual thought. It's a bias. It's something that we really didn't think about and we're not thinking through. What's your idea and your perspective about freedom? Now, my idea about freedom may be real different from your idea about freedom. How do you define freedom? What does freedom look like to you? And for me, it's not having a boss. And I would be the worst employee in the world anyway. But it's not having set time schedules. I own my own time. I don't have somebody else telling me what to do. I don't have quotas. I make up all that stuff myself. I'm in control of all those ideas with freedom. Other people are trading hours for dollars, and they are at the mercy of what their boss and their schedule tells them to do, and they have to report and do that. Well, a lot of people like that. I mean, some people tell me flat out, they say, I love that. I love having somebody tell me what to do, what my schedule is, and how much I'm going to be paid. And my jaw hits the floor. I'm like, why? Why would you do that? Why don't you make up those ideas yourself and determine what your freedom looks like? And you may be real loyal to a sports team. I see this all the time. I got a kid that comes over to it's called Hotspots group. Kathy's been working with them since 7th grade. They're now seniors in high school. And it's some of the same kids, and there's some flux in there and some liquidity in that group. But one of the kids that has come over since 7th grade, he's from Missouri, and he loves the University of Missouri, man. And he talks about the University of Missouri ad nauseum, and I just can't even I can hardly get around this kid because it's his entire focus. It's habitual thought about one thing. And I say, that's fine. I mean, it's no big deal. But can you get out of that habitual thought? And the reason I say all this, schedules, diet, and the number 12, I can't see it there because it's hidden by my screen here, but it's music. I used to be a guy that said it's only rock and roll, no country music, no gospel music. It's one kind of music, rock and roll. That's the only way to go. And now I've totally changed that, man. I listen to classical music. I listen to all kind of Christian music. I listen to jazz, you name it. I listen to vocal, just you name it. And so I'm much, much more open. And so I'm not confined to that one bias about a certain kind of music. And so I say that to when we start doing this, we start analyzing our root subjects that we're involved with here. Instead of being confined with our perspectives on that, let's open up and figure out how to, I got a new phone and I don't know how to turn it down. Okay. Sorry about that. I didn't think about that. Here's the way to do it. Here, thank you. All right, we figured that out. All right. Habitual thought. Perspectives about everything are far too often based on very little thinking. And so as an employee, you can go to work every day. You don't have to hardly think at all. There's just not much thinking required to do that. And it's not a put down. If you have a job, I know that you think, well, I'm a thinker, you're insulting me. And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that as an entrepreneur, you want to open up your thinking and your perspectives about everything that you hold dear in your life. And so I know that one little comment may have formed a lifetime opinion about an important subject, and the bias may have no real validity or basis in truth or importance to our life, and yet it keeps us imprisoned because we think a certain way. And so I'm thinking about your income. I'm thinking about my income. I'm thinking about habitual thought will keep me at the same income level that I've always been at, and I don't want to do that. We have a goal of maxing this thing out. I've got April 7th of 2017 is what I've written down. And boy, it's going to be a stretch. I mean, some miracles are going to have to happen. And I pray for miracles for that to occur. But I believe that we can do that with this type of business. It's just a matter of finding the right people. And you are in the exact same boat. If you will find the right people and really believe in this idea of maxing your center out, then you can accomplish that if you'll go meet those people, introduce them to what you're doing, and get those people on board with you. So I hope you understand that right there. We've had some good podcasts about this very subject right here, where you've got an idea about something. It's based on nothing. you have a concept that you've been holding dear, and you have a perspective on that concept, and you need to question why you really think that way. Here's what people do. I've seen this all the time. I've done most of these. Search for the lowest gas prices. People will drive all the way across town to get gas 6 cents a gallon cheaper. And when you analyze driving all the way across town, burning up, you've killed your profit by doing that. And so my dad asked me, and he's coming off the grief of losing his wife here, and my mother, just real recently, like Thursday, 2 weeks ago. He said, well, where do you get your gas? And I said, I go to the closest gas station. And come to find out, he just focuses on getting that lowest gas price he possibly can. Folks, it won't make $1 different to go get it anywhere. And so we get off that little paradigm right there. It keeps you thinking in a certain way. You wake up and go to bed at the same time consistently. Not a real bad idea, but why do that? Look at the right-hand side of the menu. And why do you do that? You go into a restaurant, and it's just a habit. It's habitual thought. You're looking at the cost of everything on the menu as opposed to what you really want. And that will keep you locked in to that low money, low price, and low cost. And so why do we do that? Well, just question that. Avoid exercise. Avoid giving money. I know a lot of people that will not give any money. They're penny pinchers. They're not going to do it to any aspect of their life. For me, if somebody asks me for money, I almost always do it, virtually every time. And you got to make up your own mind how to do that. But I'll tell you what it's done for me is it's opened doors for me personally for personal growth, and it's opened up new relationships, and people really appreciate it, and they don't forget it. And so don't avoid giving money. Be a giver. And then hoping somebody will pay for the meal. You're sitting there, and I eat with people all the time, and it's like I sit there, I can feel them squirming when it's about time for the check to come out. And I'm going, that's not how entrepreneurs think. Entrepreneurs from the get-go, before the meeting even started, before the meal was even served, I'm taking that check. I'm buying that food right there. And so there's no ambiguity about what's going on. So that's the entrepreneurial mindset right there. You're going to write it off anyway, right? And so it all boils down to really these two, number 7 and 8, and that's the scarcity mindset and anxiety about the future. And if you can get rid of these two things right here, it's going to open up your world to new growth. Your team will grow. Your mind about everything will change. The anxiety will go away. Jeffrey Combs talks all the time. He said, but you live in anxiety and you're talking to a prospect and you've got anxiety on your mind, you ain't sponsoring that person. It ain't going to happen. So you've got to do everything you can to alleviate the anxiety and turn that into confidence. When you talk with people with confidence, the odds go sky high that you're going to form a business relationship with that person. Get your mind off scarcity, get it into abundance, get your mind off anxiety, get it into confidence, and all of a sudden new doors are going to open up for you building this business. A lot of you are not growing because you fear anything new. You fear anything new. And so there's some things that we should be afraid of. I look at those guys in those flying suits, and they're jumping off cliffs. I'm going, man, I really want to do that. I don't know if I could take that step off that cliff to get myself to do that. How am I going to land, And you're thinking of things like that. But if you start thinking about the new ideas that this business will bring you, even though it's new, it's going to be phenomenal for you, and it's going to be exciting. So you adapt and associate the excitement of the new circumstances that we're creating here, the new environment that we are personally creating here through Isogenics, and you have the vehicle to be able to do that. And then here's another habit, and that's people pleasing. And if you can get out of that mode right there, that's going to change your ability to be able to be effective in your life. Quit worrying about pleasing people and start moving toward your goals and what you want to accomplish. Habits keep us stuck. So the question is, why is it that we keep repeating the same thoughts and actions and yet expect different results? And so you've heard that thought. This is not a new thought to anybody on this line, I'm sure, but it's something that you want to think about. You keep repeating the same thoughts and actions and yet expect different results. So we want to change some things that we're doing here. So habits keep us stuck. We've got to be aware of what influences and drives us. Is it comfort? Is it conformity? Let's call all of our friends and find out how they're going to dress for the next deal. No, why don't you just dress the way you want to dress? I'm headed toward pleasure on everything I do. I've worked my 40 hours this week, and everything else, I am just chucking every kind of responsibility. Anything that has to do with work, I'm getting rid of it. I'm only all about pleasure on the weekends, or approval, or we adapt the entrepreneurial side of the coin and we go, here's what I'm influenced by, and that is what I am going to accomplish. Not what I want to accomplish, what I am going to accomplish, period. That's going to happen. What am I going to create? You know, that's what entrepreneurs are doing. I'm building a team that's building teams. I'm growing teams that are growing teams. And so that's a creative process, and we're constantly creating. We're moving forward. We're ambitious about accomplishment, creation, and contribution. Now, folks, if you don't write down anything else from this call, I'd like for you to write down these 3 things right here. And you might want to write the first 4 things up there and put those in a circle, and then put the diagonal line through it, and then make these things, the accomplishment, creation, and contribution, be the things that influence your life. That's what drives our life every morning. So when we look at neuroscience, what it does, it analyzes the brain, and they have sophisticated ways of seeing what is happening in the brain. It literally lights up. Certain parts of the brain lights up, and when we experience certain stimuli, and it explains memory, thoughts, and behavior. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that, but I want to give you some great resources here. Neuroscience provides tremendous insight into the relationship of memories, thoughts, and behavior. All of these 3 things are key to our ability to succeed. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on that in just a second here, and how those relate. I want to give you a tremendous resource. His name is Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza. You want to Google him and look at any of his YouTube videos. They're fantastic. And you will learn a lot about yourself and how you function and why you're not doing certain things that you really want to be doing. He will uncover a lot of these things for you. And then the science of neuroplasticity. Boy, don't I sound smart. But it talks about how we can change our brains and the way that we think. And you know that your memories and things that you do etch little grooves in your brain. And the more you do those certain things, the deeper that gets etched into your brain. And so it may be a bad habit, it may be a good habit, but whatever you've done over and over again, that's the comfort that you're looking for. You're looking for that memory groove that has occurred in your brain, and you feel comfortable going down that little highway. Although it's not a highway, it's a little groove in your brain here. You feel comfortable doing that. And so that's what you default to on a regular basis. And so what we're saying is neuroplasticity says is that you can groove new pathways in your brain with success habits that really make things happen. And so Dr. Joe Dispenza is one of the best I've ever seen or ever studied along those lines right there. And so you can replace some of the things that you've been doing with things that will get you to where you want to go. I'll give you an example. On my car, on my Audi, the registration sticker was due last month. And so what you've got to do nowadays, you have one sticker. You don't have 2 stickers to get it registered, but you got to go get it inspected first. And to do that, you got to show your proof of insurance, get your inspection done, then go to the county clerk and pay for your registration. Well, it's sort of a long, involved process. And I experienced just a little bit, and I noticed it about myself. I go, why is there any anxiety about doing this? But I just hadn't done it in a while. So that groove wasn't fortified in my body. So I did in my brain. So I did that last month with my car. And then this month, Kathy's car was due. And it was like, man, all I got to do is what I did last month. And it was so much easier because I'd just done it. Well, The same thing is true with success habits. You may be real reluctant and hesitant with those success habits because you just hadn't done it. You're unfamiliar with it. And so the more you do them, the more familiar they become, and the more willing you are to go down those little pathways in your brain, and you feel comfortable doing those. Another great resource is anything at TED.com. Now, some of those are some pretty wacky things, but there are literally hundreds of presentations that you can look at on TED.com that are absolutely masterful and exciting and will change our thinking. That will get us to look at things differently, new perspectives. And you got those new perspectives. Now you're a little bit wiser in that area, and you're open to new ideas, and you're not in that habitual thought that we've been in all our life. So we're open to that new training at TED.com, and just scroll through there and look at all the different titles in there. It's phenomenal what's going on. By default, our environments shape us. Okay, so that's what we've been talking about, that habitual thing, because our environment's pretty much the same, and we've experienced certain things, and by the time we're 35 years old, we've experienced so much that we've developed habits on how we're going to handle that particular stimulus in our life, or that eventuality in our life. And so what we're saying here is that our environment can change because we can feed our brains new environments, new conditions, new thoughts, new grooves in our brain, and new relationships which can be agents and models of change we are seeking. Now, what I would do if I were you, I would take a screenshot of something like this, one of our slides here, and I would post this on Facebook. Okay? Take a screenshot, post it on Facebook, and say something positive about this presentation, not to boost my ego, but to get these ideas to your prospects that are seeing this kind of information. They'll go, whoa, I hadn't heard that in a while. And they, I mean, you read something like this and you go, yeah, that's true. I mean, it's not like it's earth-shaking information, but it's something that I don't see stuff like this hardly anywhere else. And that's the beauty of the personal development that goes on in our type of business on a regular basis. The secret is in our choice of focus. Are we going to focus on our past memories or our imagination of the future? Our past or our future? The two go hand in hand. See, the memory has to do with the past, and that's real comfortable. We're eager to cling to those beliefs and those ideas because we've been there. We're familiar with it. Or are we going to go and focus with our imagination that we've thought about? We have total control. We are not helpless, nor are we victims to our current conditions right there. And that's why we do these things called the dream board. And look at this. I see this picture every day of these guys' abs right here. And I'm still not there, but I'm getting closer and closer. And when I think about whether I'm going to work out or not, I'm going to work out because my abs are not there. I'm going to work till I get there. Bobby's already there. He's been there for quite some time. So look at this one up here. Love God, love people. I see that all the time. And here we got integrity, loyalty, humility, tenacity, belief, energy. I see that all the time. And here for my tithe, I want that to be $5,400 monthly tithe to the organizations and church of my choice. And why do I say 5,400? Because 10 times that is 54,000 a month, which is maxing out. That's 250 cycles. And then I've got the max out date. If you can see this, that's April 7th of 2017. Now I got to get my feet on the pedals and really moving hard to get there. 300 Team Freedom Associates, NYKO, San Antonio, January 12th through 14th, 2017. And something like this would be real nice. Kathy's talked about this for years. I have not provided that for her yet and want to do that. We really want to go to Israel. And that's a trip we have not taken yet. I really want to do that. My dad's 85 years old. Every time I see him, he says, son, you're a millionaire. Why aren't you going to Israel? You got to go to Israel. I go, I'm going to do that. How about Tuscany? You know, that's just a place that I just love Tuscan food. We eat at Brio restaurant here in town a lot. Anyway, those are just some ideas right there. And the more I see that, the more my brain furrows those pathways, enforce that. And instead of that being some far out thought, now I'm constantly thinking about it. I'm on it. I'm on these ideas, and that's where we want to be. So getting unstuck. Are you going to dwell on the past? Or are you going to combine the present and the future with your imagination and focus on that? And where do I choose to focus? Do I just wake up on a Monday morning and say, oh, crap, it's Monday again. I got to go to work. Just mumbling under our breath. And that's what most people do. And are we going to use our memories? Yes, we can use our memories. They're valuable to us, but we're going to act on our imaginations. We're going to act as though our imaginations are real, and they are. They absolutely are. They're just as real in our brain when we introduce them to our brain as our pasts are. And I don't want my past. I'm thankful for my past, but man, I've been through some crap in my past. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for some new good stuff. And a lot of that has to do with the income that you're making. And so, and getting your mind right and getting your positive thoughts in there on a regular basis. We need to think differently. We need to feel differently. We need to develop new relationships with dynamic people. We need to speak differently. I call that the language of success. Whatever you confess, you possess. We used to hear that forever. And I believe there's so much truth to that. If you're bad-mouthing everything and everybody and complaining all the time, you're going to get more of that. You really are. Nobody wants to hear complaints. You don't need to hear it from yourself. Get out of the complaining mode. Get into the speaking positively excited mode. Act differently, and then view ourselves differently. How do you view yourself? Do you have a poor image of yourself? Get that good image of yourself going and boost yourself up. Be your biggest fan. You need to be your own biggest fan, and not in an ego type way, but just support yourself. Don't undermine yourself with negative thinking. Getting unstuck. The reason we are hesitant about change is that we're unfamiliar with the destination. The more familiar we become with the intended destination, the less resistant we will be in thinking the right thoughts and doing the right attitudes. I would get this screenshot right here, and I would put this on Facebook. I'd put it on Twitter. I'd put it in LinkedIn or any websites that you have. I would get this up and say something great about this. And again, not for my ego. You're promoting your business when you do these kind of things right here. This is your business. This webinar at noon is your business. And so you speak highly of it. It's a great way to introduce somebody to Isogenics. Look, there's no mention of Isogenics here at all, but it will open up the discussion to Isogenics. I'll give you a real quick tip here. We've only got a few minutes left. One thing that I do every day, and maybe not every day, but probably out of 365 days in a year, I'm sure I do it 360 of those days. And that is, I go on Facebook and I find out whose birthday it is, and I wish them a happy birthday. You say, well, why do you do that? Well, I'll give you, it's a business move is what it is. I know that I like to receive happy birthday. I like anybody saying anything positive, but happy birthday, that makes me feel good when it's my birthday. And I'm almost like, if somebody didn't tell me happy birthday, I'm like, man, so anyway, this week I got a reply from a gal whose birthday was in June. And guess where she lives? She lives in Jakarta, Indonesia. And so I went to her and said, man, that's interesting. We just opened up and we shared a few things. She said, thank you for the birthday wish. And I said, very interesting. We just opened up in Indonesia about 2 years ago. And she said, well, what's your company? Well, that's exactly what I wanted her to ask. What is your company? And I said, it's called Isogenics International. In fact, our Indonesian operation is based in your city in Jakarta. And she said, what's that all about? And I told her healthy aging, performance in energy, weight loss, and wealth creation. And she said, wow, I used to be in pharmaceuticals. And I went, well, this is not pharma at all. It's all natural. And she said, nutritional supplements? I said, yes, and meal replacements. And anyway, the conversation went to where she's got ISA Movie now. She's got all kind of information. And I said, what I told her was, I said, yeah, I'm building a team in Indonesia, and I'm looking for an entrepreneur, a go-getter, somebody that's not afraid of making money. And so that was a third person approach rather than hitting her up. In other words, I'm not telling her I'm looking for her because I don't know if she's those things. So I'm really looking for the person that is an entrepreneur, a go-getter, not afraid of making money. And so she's real interested in that. Is she going to be the one? I don't know. But if she comes on board, then boom, we've got an Indonesian person there. And that could be the start of a big organization in Indonesia. So there are just ways to do this. It's all about communication. Wishing somebody happy birthday is a simple thing, guys. And it's a good thing to do, whether they respond, whether they get involved in your business or not. So it's a simple way of communicating and a reason for communicating outside of, hey, I just want to prospect you and that kind of thing. So most people avoid the inconvenience of learning something new, but not entrepreneurs. We are hungry for new information every single day. We embrace the change. We desire and even covet change. I know that's a negative word there, but I covet change. In fact, entrepreneurs demand change, and we are the change agents. We are the guys and gals who create change, and that is so powerful to do that. Become intimately familiar with the intended destination before you go there, and you will dramatically reduce hesitation and reluctance about change. Does that make sense to you? I hope that makes sense. If you really understand the kind of car that you want to buy, and that's sort of a shallow thing, but hey, listen, I like driving a nice car, man. There is no sense driving an old jalopy. I've done that in my life, and I didn't like it. And they both get you to the same destination, sometimes not very reliably, but a new car that is convenient. Find out what that is. What do you want? And go get a picture of it. Go take a test drive of it. Understand some of the parameters and details about that car. And if you'll focus on that and build your business, pretty soon you'll be driving that car. And that's just one example of a thousand different things. Okay, getting unstuck. Dream board, pictures of your future life. Fix your dream machine. Get it working again. Trust your dream machine. Get involved in your imagination as if you were a child again. Children have no problem with that. Adults do. And entrepreneurs don't. Entrepreneurs get involved with that dream machine, and they get that thing up and running and going full blast. Here's one of the best graphics that I love. This thing has powered me for a long time in Isogenics. I suggest you have this picture or this particular graphic or something, but there's a lot of different versions of this that shows you what's available here when you get to what level. If you're not 3-star yet, you need to get to 3-star. You need to go do 3-star and get there. That's a 6-digit income per year. You'll never be looking at another job for anything. 3-star is it, man. That's where you want to go. And then from there, you can go a whole lot higher than that. This is my dream board right here. This is a great. What's your intention? This is my intention. And this is what you need to do. You need to look at this and study this and understand, man, 5-star, look at that. Good grief, $280,000 to $417,000 per year, and dwell on that and focus on that. And your brain will take you there, and you'll get comfortable with thinking about that type of income and those figures coming into your life. Emotions. Learn to maintain a high level of excitement consistently. Focus on the concept of excitement. If I call you and you're real drab and dull in your discussion, I'm not very stimulated about talking to you, to be honest with you. So be excited, get that energy level up. Thinking, stay stimulated with reading, videos, and podcasts. IsogenicsPodcast.com, all kind of great podcasts on that. Bobby and Michelle are on there. I just noticed great stuff on IsogenicsPodcast.com. I would be listening to that every single day, which I do. Nutrition, e-shots, brain boost, man. This stuff is fantastic. This is our featured product from Celebration, and I've been on it every day, and I've noticed a remarkable change for me. I'm not getting up from the restaurant table and diving 5 feet and falling into another table, Bobby, anymore. I did that the one time. That's it. I'm done. And relationships. Who do you know that stimulate your thinking and indeed your zest for life? Form a bond with those kind of people. Offer value to them, and they will value your friendship. And you're around somebody that is really getting you going in a regular basis. Your relationships, who you're involved with, that has everything to do with your success. In events, our business revolves around events. They are the starting point and catalyst for growth and multiplication. If you're saying no to the events, you're just saying no to yourself. Go to the events, folks. You've got to get to the events and bring people with you. You've got to do that. Here's some of my heroes in life, including my wife, but Jim and Kathy Coover. I'm telling you, I am thankful for them every single day. I pray protection over them and continued health. What they have set up here is beyond anything anybody else has. I mean, it's just so special and so incredible. I just admire their business acumen, their energy, their love for people, and all that kind of thing. Let's see here. Okay, here's my contact information right here. If you don't have my music, you could get some of my music there at timdarnellmusic.com, little plug right there. But that's inspirational music, and I believe you should be interested in that. Let me see here. I missed a slide here. Oh, here we go. Last slide, and we'll call it a call here. Got about 1 minute left here. I believe that faith is the foundation, and it's crucial for you to build this business. If you're a non-believer, you need to start understanding how to believe in your creator. And this is how you're going to experience forward movement and multiplication that this business is so powerful about. My favorite parable is in Matthew 25. It's the parable of the talents. It was mentioned at my mom's funeral. Our minister mentioned it in his sermon last week. I prayed to God for a new song, and he said, open the Bible. And some of you won't believe this. He said, open the Bible. I just blindly opened it up. It went right to Matthew 25. So my newest song is Well Done, Good and Faithful Servant. And so that's the way I want to live my life. That's the words I want to hear when I get done with this thing called life is well done, good and faithful servant. Honor God in all you think and do, and you will experience rewards in every aspect of your life. Finally, 3 words that I want you to write down. And I have these in front of me all the time, and that is sustained, unwavering belief. Sustained, unwavering belief. That's the kind of guy I am. That's the kind of guy and gal Bobby and Michelle are. And that is the kind of people that you want to associate with. But more importantly, you want to become somebody of sustained, unwavering belief. Don't be somebody that's looking in the rearview mirror all the time and wondering if you're doing the right thing. Believe in that other room over there. It's open, and you're going to go there, and the outcome of your intentions awaits you in this business. I'm going to, let's see, unmute this somehow. Let me see if I'm going to do this here. Or not. Let me see. Okay, we're going to stop sharing now. We're getting to it. Okay, we're getting here. Let me see if I can unmute all. I want to thank everybody for being on this call. I hope you got something out of this and that it helped you in some kind of ways here. So,
great job, Timmy.
Okay, thank you. All the help, Bobby.
Great job. Love it.
Great job.
Thank you, Kim. Great job.
Thank you so much.
Great job.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Have a nice day. Have a good weekend.
God bless. Talk to you.